Welcome back, Jordan.
Thanks, Corey.
Appreciate the listeners listening to that ad. If you haven't started your own podcast yet, get out there and do it. Just like last episode, I think what we're going to try to do, make it a little more you and me, mess with the angles a little bit, but make it a little more casual as best as we can. And how we started out last week was, let's catch them up. Because I know jokingly, we said, what have you been doing in the last 2 weeks? But, just even in the last couple of days, as you see, in the attire, we've been doing a lot of work the last couple of days, especially today, which you might get some of the behind the scenes. But what have we been up to in the last couple of weeks? And I'll fill in any gaps.
Where did we even start? Where does 2 weeks ago start? It's so long ago. Let's see. Well, today we worked on building our enclosed space. We needed one enclosed area to be able to house any dog that has had medical attention and needs to be kind of secluded or calmed down. We have Forrest, who we kind of have to separate when feeding, just because he eats so fast and then tries to get everybody else's food. Mm-hmm. So we finally accomplished that. That was a big check off of our to-do list. We had to get the lumber, we had to build the pony wall, we had to install the gate system for it. So that's done, and a huge weight off our shoulders, I think. Let's see, what else have we done in the last 2 weeks? That was just today.
Well, you're going to reverse. Not that it's a bad thing, but it kind of started where we left 2 weeks ago.
Oh, we just got to Rose and Parker.
Talked about Pet Supplies Plus, how that was going to be a big thing. I was mentioning the impact of community.
Yes.
And greatly appreciate, and obviously it was the start of the podcast, so reminding everybody we greatly appreciate the support. But we got Rose and Parker. Yes,
we got Rose and Parker, which has been really cool to see their interaction. Rose was very intimidated when we brought her in, very recluse and secluded herself away from the pack because she was so nervous and didn't really know what to expect. But as soon as the next day when I brought Parker in, to see her literally light up like a Christmas tree was the most fulfilling and rewarding feeling that I've had in a very long time. That was so cool to see her recognize him. The shelter had turned them like boyfriend, girlfriend. So to see them reconnect with each other was super cool.
So obviously I understand what's going on, but we had to build the pony wall after we got the dogs, because if I'm the dreamer, and I push you sometimes to those crazy dreams, get you outside of your comfort zone and push you to those dreams. But you've mentioned it before, it's funny because at the same time, I'm also the worst case scenario person.
On everything.
Yeah.
You have to yes, I know. I thought about it.
I'm the just in case, have we thought about what if this happens? Sometimes I feel like you think it's me trying to shoot down or be like, oh, that's a bad idea. But just like I'm right 99% of the time.
Unfortunately.
And I don't care if I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if I'm wrong in this scenario. And I don't care if you're like, no, let's not do that. But it's me. Maybe this can help us moving forward. This is marriage counseling at its finest. Maybe this lets you understand. It's just me voicing that I got out there. Let's just make sure that if something were to happen, we've thought about this.
Oh,
so this has kind of been, for the listeners to understand why I've wanted that pony wall for a long time. Why I've pumped the brakes on, even though we got a brake line leak apparently, because I've been trying to pump the brakes on bringing those dogs in. And it went from 2 to 4 to now we're at 10 in the doghouse. And I notice how every time people ask, how many dogs are you going to bring in? Like, you just keep magically raising the number
No.
in conversation.
No.
But that was a big weight off our shoulders. So not only was it for, being completely transparent, not only was it for Forrest and some of the dogs and quarantine and all that kind of stuff, but we've mentioned before, when tips happen, and they will happen, even in our house when we've got the dogs, obviously they happen less, unfortunately, because we can keep an eye on them a lot more. This makes me feel a little more comfortable that we can manage that situation, and they're not in a crate.
Yeah.
So, and for those people who don't realize, the crate that we have now is pretty gigantic. So to make you guys feel better, to make us feel better, it's not your typical standard, 2x3 crate that you see in a house.
We just did, what was it? 9 feet long by the space we created.
90 inches.
Okay, so
so
90.
Just shy of 8 by 70 inches and 3/4, because we literally just left and measured it.
Yeah, so I mean, we're talking like what, 9 feet by 6 feet or something like that.
Yeah, give or take. Which is a pretty, especially compared to a dog, and it's only going to be.
I think it's like a 4x5.
Yeah, the idea is only for one dog, and me being the devil's advocate and thinking worst case scenario, we would like another quarantine area at some point. We don't need it now, thankfully, so we can focus on other things. But yeah, it's definitely a weight off, I think, both of our shoulders. So that was Parker Rose. Talked about today that we did the pony wall.
So
what's in the middle?
Oh gosh.
And I know, so maybe a little bit unfair. By the way, I don't know how. I have a good memory.
Yeah, because I don't.
I don't know how. And sometimes, like, it's funny because, I joke around and I always say that, no one puts you in check. In our relationship, you're constantly putting me in check. Like, you're not allowed to do that. Can't spend this money. We're not allowed to go out to eat. And it's constantly me feeling like I'm like, okay, so I had a cool idea, but we're not allowed to do that. For the listeners, who does that to you? Who puts you in check?
That's the problem.
Yeah. But it's funny because even though it doesn't come out in the open, sometimes I feel like I don't do it like to be like in your face and not get mad at you or anything like that. Obviously, I hardly, as far as I know, get mad at you. But the transition of adulting, I think I'm the secret adulter.
You're out of your mind.
Adulterer.
You're out of your school.
I'm serious. I feel like I secretly adult. But
better than me?
I think I do. I think I secretly adult way better than you. Way better than you.
That's like a bombshell, and we don't have even enough time to cover, like, defending that. Nope.
I could give so many examples that I'm thinking of.
Right back at you.
Okay, I think I secretly adult better than you. I clearly remember a lot more. That's like first
that has
thing.
nothing to do with adulting.
Yes, it does. Let me pick my kid up. Oh, forgot. I didn't say you did that, but I'm just saying that's a great example of remembering stuff. So what happened, speaking of which, remembering.
Derailed.
No, it really had something to do with it. What happened in the middle? What's the meat and potatoes?
Let's see, our weekly volunteer has been back twice now. She's actually coming again this week and bringing someone along. So our volunteer program is slowly growing. Not that we want to grow it exponentially or anything like that. Certainly concerns of COVID are still out there. And just timing, because I still am a full-time mom without any other help or daycare, timing is a big issue. But anyway, our volunteer, she's come back and she's really been able to help me achieve some of the just nitty gritty detail cleaning and I don't know, organizing all of the like final touches that I've been able to put on the places in the doghouse. We're actually going to come up with a schedule for bathing and nail trims and stuff like that. It sounds so simple and petty, but for what a lot of people don't understand is usually it's you or I that are out there caring for the dogs. And if we're together, our daughter is with us. So it takes more than just one person to bathe and trim nails for the dogs. We took Charlotte to the vet this week, and the vet techs and the veterinarian were laughing because they were joking about how Charlotte was playing with the clippers. And they were laughing about, it was a process to actually get her nails trimmed. So try doing that when you have 9 other dogs that are engaged in what you're doing and trying to bite the clippers and play with the clippers and bump your hands, and you don't want to trim too deep on the nails. And so anyway, just having that extra hand out there devoted to the same thing is going to be really cool and really great.
I agree 100%, but that's a lot of the things that I think most people listening, most entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs or small business people don't understand is it's like outside looking in, it's easy to be like, well, why don't you cut their nails? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? How come you don't have more of that? Time is one of the most valuable resources. Money helps, but that's one thing. So if they're listening now, then obviously they've caught up on the past podcasts that I did, the solos that I'm going to start. And I mentioned in my previous solo podcast that you had touched on time. And moving forward in some of the other podcasts, stay listening. I'll touch on some of the like entrepreneurship or business side things. Maybe you think of them. How do you implement something like that? It's a lot easier said than done. To why don't you have a policy or a procedure? Well, there's a lot of things that we would love to do, and we just haven't gotten around to it yet. Or better yet, we'll throw ourselves under the bus. I don't know everything.
Oh, sure.
We don't know everything. So, maybe there is a handful of things that I haven't thought about. I pride myself, though. I think I have this good ability. We're both not satisfied with status quo. We've talked about that before. But I'm also not satisfied with stagnant. In a business, personally, I think I like to push myself. But fitness as an example, just because I've always done, can I run faster? Can I lift more? Can I work out longer? Same thing with business. Where are we at now? How could could that wall be better?
Yeah.
Right? Does this open area need to be better? Do we need that fence? Do we need more lighting? I think I do that a little bit more than you do. Like analyze something and just say, could we add an extra or maybe some more flair? Where you just analyze for a very long time in the beginning stages. So we did the volunteer program. If you want to touch on, you can. We've got the tours going.
The private tours. Again, that has a lot to do with COVID and time too. We get asked a lot, are we open on different days of the week?
And privacy.
Privacy too. But
this is our backyard.
Well, part of it, yeah. But I don't even know where I was going.
Tours.
Yeah. Private tours. Yeah, just having to, schedule those out and devote time to those.
Yeah, so those have been rocking, rolling.
Yeah, we've had every weekend busy. If we don't already have an event planned for the organization, then those Saturdays have been booked up.
Yeah.
And
since we started the tours, what's been crazy is I've noticed that, the first month we started it, booked up. Second month we started it, and that's kind of what you were saying. If it's not booked, something is happening. I think so far, Graydon's birthday. That's the only thing not Scarlet Oak Farms related. But like you said, something is booked up for that weekend. That's not always the case. Usually, I feel like in the past, before September, it's been something along the lines of, well, I'm going to try to cut the grass today since I've got time. Like I'm still doing something or we're still having to do something. But now it's like months in advance. this is going on Saturday, this is going on Saturday, this is going on Saturday, this
Yeah,
is going on
yeah,
Saturday.
yeah.
So what do you think about the tours?
Oh, I like them. I like having the local community come out and get to see what we're doing in, live in action. They're not just seeing it through a computer screen or social media.
Somewhat structured, too.
Yeah. We get to share a lot more of the story, and they also kind of give us information back in return. I love just meeting the people and sharing what we do. And like we said before, word of mouth is powerful, very powerful. So connecting with those in our local community, just like seeing the swag orders go out to our neighbors, it was really cool. So just to meet people and bring them here, show them what we're doing.
Yeah, I think it's crazy talking about like you talking about stay-at-home mom, ain't got no help. What am I, chopped liver?
No, but you work a lot of the time.
Point being is, I also feel like what this volunteer program and visitor weekend program has done for us has given you an outlet you haven't had for a while. Talking to other people.
Then my husband and my daughter.
Yeah. Your dad mentioned that when we first started getting ready to have Graylin, and he was saying, all right, well, just be prepared when you come home. And she's gonna want to talk to somebody other than Graylin. And I was like, yeah, I get that. And then I think he had also mentioned, or maybe I kind of put two and two together, the fact of and remember at some point she's gonna want other communication other than you. I was like, I 100% am okay with that, but that makes sense too. It's almost like it's funny.
Yeah, you trying to interrupt our my mommy play date on Wednesdays. I said,
I know,
you ain't invited, buddy.
I knew I couldn't. I was like, man, it sucks because I want to be there with Graylin. I was off, but I was like, I assume this is mommy play date. Mommy needs your time.
That's a no go.
Yeah. So and I get that. I've got to respect that. I try to be a good husband. So yes, I didn't want to interrupt that time, and I feel like you're getting some of that time back for the listeners who maybe don't know us personally, which we're trying to do, get out there a little bit more personally. As many times as I can, I try to say, can I watch Graylin? Can I watch Graylin? Can I watch Graylin? And I feel like, especially with the volunteers coming, you want to do the tours together, which I completely understand. But any chance I can give you, especially over there, relieve a little bit of stress. I feel like that's allowed you come back almost rejuvenated. Things have been completed. Tasks have been done. You've done that girl talk, which you love, the drama, find out information, all that kind of stuff. And you've gotten a dose of that. So I feel like it's been a win-win-win-win-win. I get to spend time with Graylin, which I really love. So
plus, I feel like it's given us structure again. Like with COVID, I mean, everything has been like, So, I mean, we finally have like things on certain days. We have structure. We have a plan. We know, Mondays we have something. Tuesdays we have something. Wednesdays we have something. Thursday, Fridays are kind of up in the air. And then Saturdays we have something,
Well, it's crazy.
Just the structure.
Well, structure creates freedom. Not maybe all those people are like, I just want to do whatever I want or do whatever I want. Well, yeah, but constantly doing whatever you want creates chaos. But if you think about it logically and realize with some structure, accomplishing things, even structuring out free time, you can come up with more free time. If I do all these things, then imagine how much free time I have, even though that part of it is structured as well. So same thing happening right now. Sorry to cut you off, but by completing all of those things that we hadn't got to complete, sounds simple, volunteer form. Now that we have a volunteer, you're forced to do it with some structure. One thing off of your plate, freedom to do something else.
Yeah.
So, sorry, what were you going to say?
I just was gonna say I read a post from a blogger that I like to follow, and she was talking about she started her own business and was asked. She just recently had a baby. Baby's about 22
years old.
22 months old. And she's going to have another baby, and people are asking her, as a new business owner and now a mom for the second time, how does she handle it? And she said, believe it or not, one of her mentors had told her that she actually was going to get more time back once she had her child and starting her business, because she learned to delegate her time and make use of her time in the most valuable ways. And she said it's totally true. That
delegating her time to
like what she needs to accomplish for the day. So whether it's the business or her daughter or, whatever other projects she has going on, her time is delegated out to, or, managed out or sectioned out, that she's able to accomplish everything she thought she could, versus being so overwhelmed with the laundry list of tasks to do. She now has more freedom. So another thing that we had was we had a private event fundraiser that we attended, last Friday night, Saturday night? Anyway, it was really good to, that was in New Bern, North Carolina, and it was really cool that's about 30 miles away from us, to expose our organization to people kind of outside of our realm, and raise money for our dogs here, our cats and dogs here. That was it was a silent and live auction, which is something, I've done a silent auction before, but to have it combined as the silent and live auction was really cool, to be a part of that, and for the individuals that were putting it on to invite us and let us be a part of that and kind of share our story. You did a really good talk that you forgot to record.
Yeah, I set about 4 reminders to record the talk so I could turn it into a podcast for the people to hear it. So now I'm just having to go back. Thankfully honestly, I probably had months to think about it, but I talk so often, I talk in class, we're so darn busy, kind of just last minute I was putting some random thoughts together and wanted to make sure I hit on some of the specific things, especially since it was a fundraiser. But at the same time, I also didn't know who was going to be there, how many people was going to be there. So really I just put 10, 15 things on paper, I rehearse it in my head. And this is for, if anybody wants to talk, this is kind of how I do anything. And I public speak for a living. So that's kind of how I do all of my talks. I think about it, lay it out in my head. How would I elaborate on each key point? So because I had that, I really didn't need to record it. Kind of heat of the moment. What's funny is I was telling Jordan, I feel like I'm getting better at public speaking because of my boss, Mike. I never thought I would go like this, because he always says he public speaks good because he just immediately, when he thinks it comes out of his mouth. And I don't know if I'm quite doing that. I don't think that's the best way to do it. At least think it through. Don't just be like, oh, you want me to talk today? All right. I don't do that. But I still get, people sometimes say, I feel nervous, or I get butterflies, and I still get that, which some people probably don't realize. And even after I did the talk in front of, what was it, like 50 people?
Yeah. There was like 50 that
I've done 50, I've done 250. I don't really get nervous unless there's something on the line. And I think what I've learned through sports, what I've learned through public speaking, what I've learned through everything that I do, is if you have butterflies, that's good energy. Harness it. Like, figure out somehow. And I always, am trying to remember that as I'm getting bubble guts and I'm getting nervous and I'm getting anxiety. I'm slowly trying to remind myself, but that's good. Because if you didn't have that, then you don't care. You just go up there and be like, oh, hey, thanks for coming out. See y'all later. turn around and sit down.
Hmm.
But if you cared, that's why you have those nerves. So learn how to channel.
Well, one really cool thing is we have another fundraiser that I'm super pumped about because it's fall, my favorite time of the year, and we've been invited to a pumpkin patch.
Oh, Briley's?
Mm-hmm.
Got
Yep.
it. Yeah.
So November 1st, we've been invited to partner up with a bunch of local rescues to talk about our organization, bring out one of our dogs for people to meet, even though we don't adopt out. We were still invited to participate, ask for donations and be able to sell our merchandise out there, interact with more people in the community. Plus, it's at a pumpkin patch with hay rides and corn mazes, all kinds of cool stuff.
Are we going to have time to do all that if we're doing dog stuff?
No, I think we have to man our booth, but still.
Just being out there?
Yeah.
Smelling the pumpkins?
Yeah.
And the spice?
Yeah.
What's in your cup?
It is not a pumpkin spice latte.
Not a pumpkin spice latte, but is it that pumpkin coffee you were messing with downstairs?
No.
Oh, that was in your shake, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you still had some today.
Still had pumpkin today.
That's my point.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess that's the
Rundown.
Yeah, the 2-week rundown. Nice words. Yeah, 2-week rundown. Where are we at now? Segments.
Oh yeah, segments. Yeah.
So we've got 3 segments. We don't have a guest again today, so we won't do the deep dive.
Yeah.
But we are going to talk, seeing as Halloween is coming up, we'll talk about some of the Halloween costumes and see if you guys would like to share yours. But we put a poll up. What's the result of that? It's just in. What's the result of that poll, Jordan?
So, well, we have to talk about the question, right?
Yeah, let me get that question. Hit me.
Okay. So, is this part of our tail wags, tail drags?
Yes. So it's tail wag, tail drag. And if you remember, I'm not going to vote on them.
Right.
Because I want to, spur of the moment, kind of get a knee-jerk reaction.
Okay, so can I ask you the question? You tell me your opinion, and then I'll tell you what our fans on Instagram voted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here was the tail wag or tail drag. Canned dog food. What are your thoughts?
Tail wag
Wait.
or tail drag?
Yes.
Okay.
Or do you like it? Do you use it? So that would be a tail wag.
Mm-hmm.
Or are you not into it? You like the dry dog food better, so it's a tail drag.
To be honest,
What are your thoughts?
I don't like eating wet dog food. If I gotta be honest with you, I've tried it. It's pretty salty. Most dog food is salty.
Yeah. Oh, you tried it?
But we talking dogs or me?
Well, I'm talking dogs, but
yeah, I have tried it. So if you don't know, we'll get back into this in just a second. I'm gonna school you. In every video, we'll have a Let's School Jordan clip. Boom, about to school you.
okay, here we go.
If I'm not mistaken,
No way.
all dog food is tested by humans.
There's
so you know how,
no way. Dude, I need somebody on the side over here Googling this right now.
Hey, who's gonna be our person?
We don't have anybody here.
I know, but I'm gonna
It's
call
me.
him out now. Hey,
Jane Doe. John
Nick.
Doe.
hit me with that stat. Nick, hit me with that stat.
Oh, God.
He'll get it to you in just a second.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're wrong.
Wait a minute. Didn't I just tell you that 99% of the time I'm usually right?
Yeah.
Where are you getting your data from? I think that's stupid. I'm pretty sure I've heard this.
The electrician told me he used to work at, I won't name the brand, but used to work at their dog food plant, and he said you'd never believe the nasty stuff that goes into dog food. So if that's true, then why is it tested by humans? Not for, I think it says not for human consumption.
It says not for human consumption.
Human.
But I think that one of the stipulations is like if it can't physically be eaten by a human, why are we going to give this to the dogs? I think that's kind of the mindset behind it.
I'm going to need that Google stat before I believe this this statement?
Hit me, Nick.
Anyway.
I think that, I'm so torn though, man. I'm so torn. I'm sorry, dogs. So I had this come to Jesus moment. I'm about to get deep with you. I don't remember when I talked to you about it, but it was either Charlie or Marla. I think it was Charlie. Because we walked her on the leash for so long when she had heartworms.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was such like a personal pain to me.
To walk a dog on a leash?
No, not that.
Mm-hmm.
But thinking about from her perspective, dogs live 15 years.
If.
I'm being optimistic.
Yeah.
If they only live 15 years, that's, real quick math in my head, maybe a tenth totally of what a human is going to live.
That's 150.
Well, that's what I'm saying, like optimistically. Once again, let's say they live 10 to 10 years old. 10. So maybe
Okay.
I'm trying to like do even round
All right.
big numbers. 1 month is almost like 6 months or 7 months in dog years.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we only had to walk her for like 1 or 2 months, but in dog years, that's
Like a year.
almost a year and a half, 2 years
Mm-hmm.
that we've had to put her on this. So that being said, I thought about the diet as well. I go deep into my thought process, and it got me thinking, I don't know how healthy the wet food is. But at the same time, if they only live it for 15 years, might as well have fun with it. Like if I was only going to live 15 years, I'm going to put gravy, some hot sauce, some cheese. I'm eat everything that I want. Might as well have fun with it, right? But at the same time, I feel like that's kind of bougie, don't you? Like having all that extra stuff. Like, oh, I've got to give my dog food. And I got to put all this extra stuff on top of it. You know how we are. You know how we feed our dogs. I'm trying to make it light, a very enjoyable conversation. So all that being said, we give it to him. I give it to him anyways.
But you're saying you're personally not a fan of it? Like you'd rather just stick with, we get it donated. So yes, of course we use it. But so you're saying that if we didn't get it donated, you wouldn't want to use it. So it'd be a tail drag for you.
I think it would.
Oh, you're such a weenie.
I know. Like I'm thinking about if we didn't get it donated, we didn't do it with Scarlet.
I know, but that's it because I didn't realize, like, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Maybe not the wet food. Here, I don't know if that's where you're getting ready to head with it. Maybe not the wet food, but like that sprinkle stuff. I don't remember the brand.
Kitchen.
Honest Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that. I
The
feel
powder.
like, and that's my point. Is like I'm digging my spoon into this gelatinous, can't be good for you food.
It's just like fat, rendered fat, like you wouldn't bake it or something.
But that goes through my head. I think about that. I'm just like, how good is this dog food, or is it just easy to make? Is it cheap for the animals? And I'm sure it probably tastes good in the light of it, and they don't know the wiser. But a part of me does think like I'd like the dog around here for a very long time.
Yeah, of
as
course.
long as we could. But I don't know.
Nope. Studies honestly say that by mixing up their diet like that, changing their dog food, not keeping them on a consistent food constantly throughout their life is actually much better for them. If you think about it, just for us, if we ate the same protein and the same vegetable and the same fruit every single day for the rest of our lives, you're missing out on so many minerals and antioxidants and all these other very key important things that keep us healthy.
Would you get that stat from the pizza delivery guy? No, but you're right, and that does make sense. But still, I'm sure you maybe don't agree with me, but you know where I'm coming from. I just worry about their food sometimes.
Yeah.
I think, and I've voiced that concern. I don't know what else to do. We're not there yet. We haven't crossed that bridge yet.
Mm-hmm.
But even with the wet food, I worry about it. And at the same time, in my head, the variable on why I do use it and why I like it is they ain't gonna be around for a short period amount of time anyways. I might as well have fun with it and put some extra gravy on it.
Yeah, so that's kind of how we use it is we don't just dump one can of food into a dog's bowl. So there are currently 10 dogs at the doghouse. We scoop out, they get dry food, and then we scoop one can, usually lasts for the majority of the dogs, or we might have to do two because there's 2 picky dogs right now, but you know, that's what a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half of wet food, and then we add some water to thin it out so it becomes like a gravy over top of the dry dog food. What?
You've got great expressions.
I know, I have to talk with my hands.
Yeah, but your face moving around.
Yeah, I'm animated. So anyway, so
I'm so torn. If I gotta do one of these though, like off with his head.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I guess I'm for it.
Oh, so you changed your mind? That's persuaded you.
No. I mean, I've thought about it, and I mean, even when I do it now, I that goes through my process.
So our voters, though, they voted 62% dry food only. Only 38% would add liked the canned dog food.
I bet you they like one ply TP too. There's 62% people.
Nope.
You gotta have a little bit of fun. You gotta splurge.
Yeah.
A little bit, and I think with the dog food, that's kind of how I think about it. It's like they're not gonna be around. Might as well just splurge a little bit.
One of our followers, she actually said that they would put it in the Kongs and freeze it as like a Kong filler, and it would last for about an hour and a half for their dogs, which I thought, like, we used to, and I had told her, I was like, wow, I never thought about putting the canned food into the Kong. We used those rolls of like soft food for Scarlet because she was allergic to peanuts, and so a lot of that like pre-made Kong filler has a lot of peanuts and stuff in it, or is peanut butter flavored or whatever. So we used that, but I thought that was a really good idea, and I think that could be cool for like on hot summer days. We could try something like that.
Yeah, just with as many in here for sure we could do that and try it. Out there, need adult supervision.
Or we could just use like I was thinking those like old school ice cube trays. So it would be like only like little cubes that they could like kind of chew and so it wouldn't take an hour, but maybe something to think about.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
So that was the only question we had.
Yeah, that was the only poll we did.
Well, hopefully, I mean, people are watching. You can submit more questions. They can submit more questions.
Yeah.
This is definitely just a start. So I know I put a lot on you, which you already have a lot on you, to come up with that question and do the questions in general. So I mean, maybe you might catch a feel for it too. Have more fun with it. People will submit random questions. You can save them. So please submit. It helps us out.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe another example, we can use that defreeze dog food.
Yeah.
As a question later on down the road, just an idea on how we could possibly get some help. So I think that's a wrap. If you're watching this, it's almost Halloween. So I've asked on my future podcast, the solo one, anybody has videos or costume designs. Are we going to dress our dogs up?
No.
You say that like that was a crazy question.
That's a lot of work, and I just don't have time
for
it.
15, but did you not dress Scarlet up at least one time?
No. I
got pictures of you dressing her up.
I mean, I just put like stuff on it, but we never took her like I never put a Halloween costume on her.
Halloween, because it was a Tuesday.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Oh Lord,
right.
What's crazy is I think I have in my camera roll that I saw the other day when we did the other segment of deep dives, a pumpkin costume on Scarlet. I think I did, and it wasn't Halloween, and it probably wasn't a Halloween costume.
There's a picture of her with an orange gator, like a hunting gator.
Maybe that was it. I'm not 100%.
And then I had put like my hunting jacket over her arms and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
Either way, if you've got videos,
Yeah.
pictures, anything related to Halloween, we'll love to see them, love to share them. Thanks for tuning in. Anything else you need to let us know, Jordan?
Nope.
Appreciate the support. Follow along here, like, subscribe, catch us on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, all that other stuff.
Is that your
My
stomach?
stomach's rumbling because I'm hungry. Hopefully we get some pizza. Appreciate you guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.